Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. David Pendleton here, going back to my old school days and doing some pre-recorded tour one-on-one play. This one's going to cover tour number 10, so if you don't know, I started off season number 63 with an invitation from Team Tarts to join their clan for the season. Now, I haven't played Golf Clash one-on-one tour play competitively for years. So it's kind of fun to get back in and start playing it again. So I'm going to be focusing on tour number 10. I've only been playing this tour since Sunday because that's when the season rolled over. So I'm still finding my footing with some of the shootouts, but doing a lot better than I was when I first started off. So I feel pretty confident here making the video that we're going to win more games than we lose, which is always a plus. But I'm always open to feedback as well. So if you've been playing Tour 10 for quite some time and you see me struggle in a shootout, give me some good advice in the comments on how to improve my game. That would be awesome. So if you don't know much about Team Tarts, they're awesome. Thank you to them for extending a hand for me for this season. I'll kind of go through their clan here in just a moment after we tee off. Looks like we got our opponent starting off with a little money ball here. So they're able to maximize their drive and pick up some big yards, it looks like. Now we're seeing this ball float around quite a bit in one-on-one play simply because it's the new flavor of the week. It's the newest ball out by Playdemic. So I play most of these drives here on Tour 10 at 10%. Sometimes I'll bump it up even higher if we're dealing with a big wind push. But 7.7 mile per hour here, really nothing too crazy to work with. So we'll just kind of play it at the 10%. Hopefully we'll hit perfect. And the goal is going to be to split this ball right in between the rough line and go down the center of the fairway. We do hit perfect, so that always helps. And that's exactly what we were looking to do. Right down the middle of the fairway, splitting that rough there. So we'll take that all day. I think our opponent only got about 20 more yards than us, even with that money ball, just simply because they clipped the rough and rolled out. So, yeah, we're right there with them. So, Team Tarts is it's a C100 mainstay. So, you can see here they've made C100 29 consecutive seasons. So, congratulations to them. Now, don't let my third place here fool you in clan points, simply because this team here is basically all master tournament bracket players. So, once the current tournament finishes, they are going to all go past me pretty quickly. Now, I did play expert this time. Again, it's been a super duper long time since I played an expert tournament. So hopefully I can get a good finish on there and earn some clan points in that tournament. If you're just tuning in at a later time, maybe much later, this is July 5th. So today is the day after the 4th of July. I hope everybody who celebrated that had themselves a nice 4th of July. Got to see some fireworks over the weekend and maybe shot off some of your own. All right, our opponent's on the green in 2. We're going to be on the green in 2, unless I really mess up. And when it comes to these types of shots, I'm not looking to drop this. I'm just looking to force the shootout. I'm just going to pull this one basically 1-to-1. Just a tad left curl here. Perfect shot. Should put us at least onto the green or in chipping range if we roll onto a fringe area. But no, we're going to roll right up here close to the pin and get ourselves a nice little putt. Okay. As you can see here, I will be playing with my Golf Clash notebook app mixed in with my iPad so that you can see the elevations that I play. So maybe if I hit some good shots, you'll be able to copy those elevations on your Tour 10 shootouts. Or if I mess it up, you can be like, oh, yeah, Dave, I saw you played that one 25%. You really want to play it 45% on these wind angles, and we can just help each other become better Golf Clash players along the way, which is always nice, too. Now, I gave Team Tarts a 10,000 clan point commitment, so I'm going to be grinding away at Tour 10, maybe some Tour 11 as the season comes to an end. It just really depends on how I do in my expert tournaments. I will be playing a master tournament at the end of this season as well for the 9-hole cup, so maybe I can pick up some little bitty points along the way there as well. Okay, so I think in this wind angle, I'm going to go over here. I have not got this shootout too much, But I know this is typically how we play this shot in a tournament. Because of the tailwind, I think I'm going to leave it a little bit short. I'm just going to say we're going to play this one 15% at max. So we're going to pull this one just under 10 rings. Yeah, so maybe just a little something like that. We hit perfect. Hopefully that side spin to the right will put us back towards the pin. It's pretty close. I don't know if it's going to be close enough to win. I thought about using just a little bit of right curl, and I think that I should have. That would have got us a little bit closer. But I think we're all right. You know, if you get the ball within 3 yards on tour 10 and you lose, hats off to your opponent, because I think, 3 to 4 yards is going to win the majority of the time. Now, if you're currently playing the 4th of July tournament, I would love to hear how your qualifying rounds have gone. Again, today is Wednesday, so this is the last day to qualify. But I bet most people watching have probably already qualified. Let me know how you shot. How many tournaments did you enter as far as how many accounts do you have? And what level? Rookie, pro, expert, master. What'd you shoot? How'd you do? What do you think? I'd just love to hear any comments from anybody. All right, cool. So our opponent put one into the rough, and we definitely were able to pull out the victory here. Nothing like beating a money ball, too. Gotta say, it always feels a little bit better when you beat a money ball player. Now, there's nothing against money ball players. My motto on anything that you do in a video game wise is to do what is fun for you. So play with whatever ball you want. Doesn't matter if it's Tour 1 and you want to rip out a berserker. By all means, play it how you feel is the best way for you to enjoy the game. Okay. All right, so there we are. We've won one so far, so we'll put 1 in the win column. And if you're curious how my expert round went, I did shoot a minus 15. I am expert star 2. I have not played expert on this account many times at all. But these are the prizes that are in expert 2. I was surprised to not see like Kingslayers and stuff here. I don't even know if they still give that ball away. But I shot a minus 15. You see my drops came on hole 1. Hole 3 picked up the albatross. And I think hole 6 was a hole-in-one, maybe. But anyways, hopefully I hit more perfect shots in the next 2 rounds, because I really, really struggled hitting perfect shots, believe it or not, even with the minus 15, just because that needle speed is obviously much different than the rookie content that I'm used to posting for everybody on YouTube. So it took me quite a bit to get the timing down, and I still was not near as consistent as I need to be to compete once it gets to the final round, because we know on this course that we're going to have to push some pretty good minus 30s in order to get into the top 10. All right, so here we have a short little par 4. We're going to try to go the same way that our opponent is going, which is going to be on the right-hand side. Because if you can get yourself over that sand trap there on the left, you can get yourself within thorn range. Now, I would rather stay in thorn range than really push the top of the fairway and get into endbringer range. It's just a weird shot going over the sand and water with the endbringer. It really seems to throw the endbringer rule off for some reason, so I would rather stay in thorn range on this shot. So we got another money ball here. We got a W5 P3 Precision 1 ball. So we'll see if we can slay another one of these money balls here. Perfect shot from our opponent. They're going to roll into the sand. Okay. All right, so we'll be hitting out of the sand. I'm going to do my best to stick this one on the fairway. And again, like I said, hopefully take a shot with the thorn here. Might just go a little something like this. Bump this back down to 10%. I don't want this ball to carry on the drive into that sand trap, of course. And I don't want to use any left curl because I don't want to stick it in that other sand trap. So I think we're just going to go for a straightforward shot here. Probably going to be imperative that we hit perfect too, which we do. So hopefully the ball doesn't carry off the tee box. It does not. We hit the fair. Whoo, it almost carried though. So my thinking was correct. I should have probably bumped up the elevation here on this one. I almost did. I think I even played 2 rings behind the sand trap too, but in the back of my head, I had a little bit of fear here that this ball would carry. It did, but we got away with it, so that's good. .5 mile per hour wind here is pretty makeable, especially this is almost a dead crosswind. It's not quite. It's got a little bit of tailwind mixed in, but this is a really good opportunity for our opponent to save their hole here and drop an eagle on us. If they hit perfect, there's a good chance that they make this. I would have probably aimed a little bit more left-hand side of the hole. But they do have a precision ball, which will help with the perfect. Oh, that's a nasty great left. Okay. All right, so for us here, let's see where we're at. 10 miles an hour. Looks like we're still going to come into the right here. Yep. All right, no big deal. We'll be heading to our second shootout, which is probably what people like most of all when watching somebody's playthroughs on one-on-one tour play. Looking for shootout help more than likely. You can also see here I'm using some clam point boost when it comes to the tee box and the hole explosions. Just trying to earn a couple more clam points along the way with each game. Now this one I've been struggling with a little bit. I've been having a hard time finding out, really where to place everything, because you see here we get caught in between clubs, which obviously I don't like. So I've been trying to figure out, do I play it up here? So I've really been inconsistent on this hole. So I'm going to play it up here. I'm going to do like another 15% at mid on this one and see how it turns out. So this is almost 1-to-1. It's going to be a 7-ring pool. So 4, 5, 6. Close enough to 7. Maybe a click or right curl. Perfect ball. So we'll see what happens. Come on, baby. All right. So there we go. Yeah, we'll take that all day. So we got ourselves 0.46 away. So keep that in mind there. That was a good play. 15%. We played it at mid, so a 7-ring pull basically. And because the wind was blowing to the left, I went ahead and added just a click of right curl to that shootout. Like I was saying, this Team Tarts earlier, I mean, they are full of master players. Man, I've seen some people put up some amazing qualifying round scorecards. I saw some -19s, -18s, 17s. I mean, they're just tearing it up. So overall, just really, really good performance. All All right, so our opponent hit a great shot, and they're going to go into the rough. So great left, push them into the rough, but, you know, it would have been really hard for them to beat .46. We'd have been really unlucky to lose that one. So we've definitely earned our stripes on the first 2 games. 3 yards away on the first shootout, within half a yard here on this shootout. We are 2-0 against money balls so far. Again, I always feel a little bit of satisfaction, more than you do when you get a regular win when you beat a money ball player. I don't know why I feel that way. I just be honest. That's just how I feel. I'm sure some of you can relate to that as well. All right, so we're going to head into our third game here. We got Just Saying from Alabama RTR #1. Got the USA peace sign as the emblem of the clan there, or not the clan, of their game. All right, so what we're going to do here in Tailwind is same thing. We're just going to try to split the ball right down the middle of this fairway, just like we did last time. Which I believe here, 12.4. Last time I played at 10%, and it worked out good. I'm going to play it somewhere between 10 and 15% here, so instead of 10.8, I'm going to go ahead and just try to pull it in 11, or somewhere close to that. So I start off moving 1 ring first. There's 1, and then I'll just do a whole nother full ring. Or full target, I should say. Oh, shoot. That is not going to work out well for us. That's a great left with the wind blowing to the left. Wow, we are lucky here that to get away with the shot going right down the middle. So overall, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good. That was a bad, great left too. So I am surprised that with the wind blowing to the left there when we pull, that we were able to stay on the fairway. But I'm glad that we did. I thought we were going to head for that sand trap and then be in a position where there's no way we're going to be able to recover and get to the green in 2. So our opponent here is going with a katana. So he had a money ball in, but swapped it out. Now they ripped a perfect ball. And that's a little weird too. They are lucky in the sense that they were able to hit the sand and roll out of the sand and keep their ball on the fairway. Now, they're going to be really far away from the green. I don't think they can get there in 2. They might be able to do maybe some type of swing shot from over here, but I doubt it. But we'll see. So we may have one of those very rare wins in regulation. I feel like most of the time when you play the higher tours, your games are going to go to a shootout more times than not. Really, the only times that they don't is if you or your opponent mess up their drive, and that could be the case that we're seeing here. But we'll see. You never know what an opponent comes up with. They might be able to lay up and then drop their shot for the eagle approach, or maybe they can get there. So they got their Guardian. They're going to be able to get there. They're going to be able to go a top spin and side spin to the left and get themselves back in range of this game. So overall, I didn't think they'd be in a position to get to the green like they are. They don't even really need to go with that much overpower. So here you see the mistake that I think is a pretty common mistake for players, to where they went with unnecessary overpower. You'll notice that they could have set their spins to do top spin, but they didn't. So give me 1 second. I have a phone call coming through that I got to take, so I'm going to step away for just a moment and make sure that they don't make this. Okay, they didn't make it. Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Hey, what's going on? Oh, I've never heard such a thing. I've never heard such a thing. button on the ignition that you can push into? Okay, I'm back, so not much of a break there. Everything's fine with the phone call. All right, not too bad. We're off to a good start, everybody. We're 3-0. Like I said, I've been finding my footing here on the Tour 10. Okay, so this one here, we're going to, I don't know. For me, I always have a hard time sending it and getting a good rollout to this particular area, especially in a little bit of a headwind angle. We'll see if we're able to pull the 10 rings here without going into overpower. We're going slightly into overpower. I guess I'll go ahead and try to go this drive. Yeah, so we got ourselves stuffing in the bunker. I should have laid up on the center fairway island. Now, we're still here from the bunker, though. We're going to be okay. But I feel like more times than not, we should really just lay up right here on this middle fairway, because then you get yourself a good sniper approach for shot number 2. All right, here we go. We got the money ball. We got a W5P3 Precision 2 ball here. This is definitely not the type of ball that you want to go up against in the shootout, because they're going to have just a huge advantage. One, from a wind resistance perspective, and two, they'll be able to hit perfect pretty easily. But our opponent is also in the bunker, but they're right next to us. I said we'd have no problem getting up there, but maybe I'm a liar. We are going to have a problem getting up there. Okay, so that's at least going to put us on the fairway. Now we'll have to rely on the old Embringer rule to see if we can get this shot to drop here. All right, so we're pretty much in a very similar area, my opponent and I. All right, so we're going to go 20%. This is actually a really good wind angle to drop this shot, so hopefully I don't mess it up. Well, that looks almost 50%, doesn't it? I'm going to go ahead and go some side spin to the left here. I know that goes a little bit against the Embringer rule, but this is a pretty big wind push. I'm going to bump this up just a little bit. So we're going to pull this just under 9 rings. Hopefully we'll hit perfect. Well, we hit a great, but sometimes you can get away with a great with the Embringer, and we do. Okay, woo! So we did drop it. Sometimes with the Embringer, though, you can get away with great shots, and we did there. Now our opponent here going with a completely different approach. We're going with the full topspin approach with left curl. All right, so we both banged it in, and now we're heading to another shootout. So this is, again, not a situation we want to be in. with a ball like this. We're going to have to be supremely accurate in order to try to win this hole here. Now, this shootout hole, I found requires a pretty heavy pull as far as elevation goes. So I'm going to leave my ball guideline here, as you can see, a couple rings away from the fairway, because this one tends to carry. I'm actually going to pull this one 40% at maximum as well. So we're going to pull this one right around 11 rings. So we're going to go ahead and go with one full target first, and we'll call that about 10, and we'll call that around 11. One click of right curl. Perfect ball, and we'll see how this one comes in. Didn't even need the click of right curl. I mean, obviously, I'm happy with that shootout shot, 1.65. So 40% right around max. I did 11 rings. It called for 11.4. And I took just about half a ring off because the wind wasn't too high. I think it was, again, what was it, 8.1? Yeah, so it was 8.1. So, it was nothing crazy. If we'd have been over 10, then I'd have probably pulled it the full 40%. But you'll see here, our opponent, 5 mile per hour. I mean, this is a layup wind for tour number 10. Perfect ball. They're going to roll a little bit long here. So good. We bring down another money ball player. And we really earned him too, because I've been sticking these shootouts essentially right next to the pin, which feels really good. So we're 4-0. 4-0 and 3-0 against money balls. All right, cool. So we're off to a good session, and I'm really happy about this. All right, so now we got Hole Reaper here. So you got two options here on the draw. You can go left, which is what I'll probably go. Or you could go right, but I'm going to try to go left here. I think this is probably a good wind angle to go left. Haven't really played this hole too much here on Tour 10. And I'm just going to bump this up to 10%. So we're going to go, we'll just call it 8.5 instead of 8.7. You don't have to be 100% precise here on this hole. So just something like this. Maybe one click of left curl just to fight against the wind, and we hit a perfect ball. We get a really nice bounce here. Yeah, perfect. All right. All right, so our opponent here going with the katana. So we got a non-money ball player. We're going to be playing ball for ball on here. Now that just seemed like a guessing there instead of using rings. And they nailed it. All right, so we're both here in chip-in range. So one of us may drop this shot and just win it outright. I don't know if this is a steeper way to go after this hole or not. I'm gonna pull this one right around 6, maybe just a little bit under. So there's 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'll pull it 5.8 and see what happens. Oh, over pulled it. Ooh, that shot came in right at the pin too. Really, really close to dropping that. So our opponent has a good chance to beat us here. All right, cool. Well, so they didn't, so we're going to be heading to a shootout. All right, here we go. Let's go. Let's load it up. 5th game. And another shootout. We're due for a bad one. Okay, I struggle with this hole. I have a hard time keeping this one on the green. I tend to roll off this hole quite a bit. Oh, I don't know if we want to go with a grizzly here, or do we want to go with the sniper? I know I'm going to go with a ton of right side spin. And I'm thinking to leave the ball guideline pretty short, too. How about a 25% pull at max? What will that give us? 14.4? I am literally guessing here, everybody, so let's just go with this pull here. Even maybe a click of right curl. Well, at least we hit perfect. 3 bars of right side spin, too. Goodness. Okay, man, that's a good shot. So 3 bars of right side spin, 25% at max with a little bit of right curl. I mean, I feel really good about that shootout shot, obviously. Now we'll see here our opponent is going opposite of us. They're going with some backspin. And only 1 bar side spin to the right. Now, they're doing the same thing, leaving their ball guideline short, but they're aiming pretty far to the right-hand side of the hole off the bat and using right curl, so nice. So, I mean, you know, even though our opponents are messing up their shootouts, we are not. So, again, there's a difference between getting lucky in shootouts and earning your stripes even when your opponent misses. But, you know, we are on fire right now with another one right at the pin. Cool, we're 5-0. We'll take it. We'll keep this party rolling, everybody. All right, Spinny, we got CZ plus SK Legends. So I'm assuming this is some type of clans that have combined forces, possibly. Unless I just don't know what that means. All right, so this one, you know, I typically go with a no moving target. So what that means is I'm not even going to move my target here until it's time to adjust for the wind. So right off the bat, I'll just set my spins, you know, go with a little something like this. We don't want the ball to carry too far and roll down into the sand. And then from here, I'll just play at 10% at max. So we'll pull this one 5-7 with a little bit of left curl. So we got 4, 5, we'll call that 7. A little bit of left curl. Perfect ball should have no problem hitting this very small circular fairway island and then going exactly where we want to down to the top part of the fairway. So again, you know, you could push this one a little bit harder with more top spin, but there is a little glitch roll at the top of this fairway that sends you flying into that sand water area. Now, I've never experienced like going into the water hazard, but I've experienced many times rolling off the top of the fairway into the rough sand area. So that's why I don't push it too hard. We got a very rare Marlin player here on Tour 10. Now, the thing about when this typically happens is you're normally going against somebody who's very good. Anybody who white balls or use Marlins on a consistent basis has a very good, typically they're a really good player. Doesn't always mean that, but more times than not, it typically does. All right, so we'll see if we can get ourselves a minimum distance shot with a thorn. No, we're not at minimum distance. We're... Okay. We need to use less backspin here in a headwind angle. You know what? We're not gonna mess around with that sand trap there. We're gonna go for this shot right here. And we're just gonna pull this on 4 rings and see what happens. Ah, gosh darn it. One of our first great balls. Wow. So it wouldn't have mattered. A perfect shot would have missed even more because I hit a great left there, and I still came into the right-hand side of the hole. So we needed a much bigger elevation pull than what I played there. So you can see they quickly did obviously, they quickly did a club check too. They're going to know how many rings I pulled in my wind strength. They're going to know that I missed right. I feel like we're playing a very good opponent right now. And they're adding left curl. So they obviously saw how I missed. And they're adjusting to fix my miss. But they're still going to miss to the right. So we both missed to the right, even though they used left curl. So we're heading to a shootout. Now, we're in a position to where, in a very rare circumstance, I am the advantage in a shootout to where I've got a more powerful ball, I've got a better wind resistance ball, and I've got more side spin to work with. So typically, whenever I play one-on-one, I'm normally at the disadvantage ball-wise when it comes to the shootouts. But now I'm in the driver position here. All right, here we go. Same hole we just played. I played it 25% last time. But this time we have a very different wind angle. So this time we have headwind mixed with crosswind. This will just be an absolute complete guess. I'm going to play at 25% again. I know I'm at minimum distance of my sniper here, but I'm going to go ahead and play it mid. So we're going to go with an 11-4 pull or somewhere close to that. I'm going to pull the first part first and then re-pull again. Click a right curl again. Maybe a couple clicks. You know, I'm not too thrilled with that shot there. It does give us an opportunity to learn. But again, I mean, kind of like I said on the first hole of this pre-recorded stream, you know, somewhere between 3 and 4 overall I'm pretty happy with. If I lose, I lose, you know. At least I know that I hit a good shot to keep myself competitive. Can't get too upset at yourself, you know, when you lose games unless you're on a bad losing streak. You know, the only time to really get upset with yourself when you lose is if you're making just a lot of bad mistakes. But so far, that's not the case. But we haven't even lost yet. So our opponents got their chance here. They're also using right curl. About the same as we did. Just a couple of clicks of right curl here. They hit a great ball to the right. Yeah, but they win. I mean, it's kind of like I said at the beginning. You know, you typically you face yourself a Marlin player. You're up against somebody who's good and know what they're doing. Now, I don't like losing against a great shot in a shootout, but hey, it is what it is. So we pick up our first loss. So we are 5-1 on this session. All you can do there is just give kudos to them hitting a really good shot. 1.5 away. So they definitely earned the victory there. All right, so here we go. Couple options here on this hole. You know, if you're in blast range, especially if you're going to play the more powerful ball, you might be able to get some juice here. I don't think we can carry this enough, everybody. I'm going to try to carry it, but I don't think, man, I don't know. I think it's going to be close with a perfect ball, honestly. So we're going to pull this one 10. And then what we want to do after we pull, we have to get our yards back. We're going to face the tee box. We're going to push it up to max. We're going to go full blast. And we did hit a perfect full blast too. So if there's a chance, it's going to go. 1 bounce. 2 bounce. Roll, baby. Woo! We had the juice to get there. Nice. So our opponent's got an extra mile 9. So extra mile 9 with a Titan. So obviously a P3 ball. They have a ton of top spin. They're going to be able to get it there as well. And they did. All right, so now this shot right here, everybody, this shot, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, it sucks. This ball guideline is super glitchy. Unless you've got that shot down pat, I do not ever recommend you going with that shot unless it's a tournament and you can try to dial it in. Very, very inconsistent play here on this hole. So here I'm going to go with just basically, essentially a 1-to-1 pull. Click a left curl here because I think I pulled incorrectly with the wind angle. But we made it up there. That's all we wanted to do. All right, so, you know, here, like I said, this rough bump, it stinks. Now, our opponent's going to go with it, but the thing is, even with a perfect ball, using the top spin, sometimes This ball shoots out of the rough like it's coming out of a freaking cannon, and it goes flying into the back part of the rough or into that sand trap. Now, maybe they know what they're doing. Maybe they want to experience a glitch, but I think a lot of people can understand what I'm saying when it comes to this hole. This is a dangerous shot, in my opinion. They hit a great ball to the left, but they hit the rough and the ball deadened. So, I mean, it worked out for them. All right, so we'll chip this bad boy in here and head to another shootout. That's good. We got a nice little chip in because one of my season challenges is to chip in the ball 40 times, I believe. All right, so this is game number 7, if I remember correctly. We're 5-1, and we're heading to another shootout. Pretty much from that distance, even though they hit a bad great, you'd have to hit a really nasty great shot to miss that from that close. All right, so we got a P3 against a P2, both free to play balls, so really no advantage here when it comes to this shootout. Ugh. Again, not one that I've had too many times, so I'm not 100% familiar with, how we're going to play this shot here, other than just kind of, almost seems like we could play it with a driver if we wanted to get a little silly with it. Now, I don't know about this shot here, using 2 bars of side spin to the left in the same way that the wind is playing or going. And I don't want to play the ball too close to that rough either, so I'm wondering if I should just go something like this and pull it 9 rings, which I think is 25% at max that I was looking at. Up against the shot clock too. Son of a gun with a bad great to the left, so yeah. Oh. We're going to lose back-to-back games here. I was simply trying to feel how to play this hole since I haven't had much experience with it. And got myself up against the shot clock and hit a bad great. So, unless our opponent has a major cluster like we did, this is the first game that I've lost that the loss is on me. Just played it bad. Shoot! Stinks after going 5-0 to pick up 2 losses in a row here, but still, I mean, assuming we lose this, we've won 5 out of 7. I'm not a math wizard, but I think that's somewhere around 70% winning. Maybe a tad over. Pretty close. Oh, man. Did we really get lucky? Wow. Well, never mind. We are 6-1. So, we got really lucky here, everybody. 29 yards away from a shootout should never result in a win. But it did. Make sure that if you're ever playing second in a shootout and your opponent bombs their shootout shot like I did, you just go with a very, very safe approach. Our opponent went with an overpowered shot there for some reason, which they didn't need. And they, I don't know. I don't know why they pushed it like that, but they did. But we're going to take it now. So now we're 6-7. Or no, 6-1 instead of 5-2. That's a much bigger deal. What I meant to say is we won 6 out of 7, which I do know is 85%. I know that for sure. Only because I use 6 out of 7 quite a bit with my job. All right, we got the Kingmaker here with the full OP blast in the headwind. Perfect ball, too. So nice shot from our opponent here. Now they're going to think I'm a smart ass, but I wasn't meant to be. I was actually really saying nice shot. All right, we're going to reset here. We're going to go 8-1, 6-4. So it's an opportunity where we could go this side, possibly, and go with the rough bump for the pin. But I think I like this. I think I like going this way, maybe just a little bit better. Oops, I already had it set, huh? So we're going to see if we can even pull 7 rings. I don't think we're going to be able to. I think we're going to pull into overpower. Zoom out so I can get the good ring pull. 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So we're pulling into OP, so we're going to OP that much. We also hit a almost a fully overpowered perfect ball. 1 fairway. 2 fairway. We let that side spin and that left curl put us dead down the middle of the fairway. We'll take that one, baby. Always like having an opponent who friendly chats back and forth during the game, too. I find that a little fun. Now, I will tell you, if you're good at hitting perfect out of the rough in almost a dead headwind here, you could definitely go with a rough bump. You could top spin rough bump this one and get yourself lined up really nicely into the hole if you're good with adjusting out of the rough and hitting perfect. Our opponent here is just simply looking to lay up. Great shot, perfect shot, doesn't matter to them. They'd have to get lucky to drop it, so they're just looking to land on the green and hope that I don't make my shot here on the approach. It's a tough one here. This is high wind to even think about hitting this one with a thorn out of the rough and having enough juice to get it to the hole, but we're going to try. I'm going to pull it just under max, even though we're not at max. I'm going to pull it 6 instead of 6-4. Gosh, that's a bad grate to the right, too. Goodness, David. Boy, there's a chance with the perfect ball there. I don't know if we'd have made it with the perfect, because with a bad grate right, we just grazed the right edge of the cut, but who knows. I've hit a couple great shots here now, so I need to get my timing back. All right, so we're facing off against a Kingmaker here in the shootout. Obviously, they got the advantage, P3, extra wind resistance. The P3, not so much of an advantage, but that wind resistance is definitely better than a Katana, obviously, and we both have the same side spin. So, overall, this is going to be a pretty even shootout outside of the wind here. Okay, this one I struggle with. I feel like on this hole, from what I found out here, in headwind, I feel like we need to play it with our driver. In crosswind and tailwind, it feels like it's better to play it with your wood club. Cat 7 is a very good club. I still feel, though, even with the P3 ball here, I would still play this one with the driver. But I'm going to assume that our opponent has a lot more experience on this shootout hole than I do, because I have, almost 0 experience on this shootout hole since I'm just starting to play tour 10 again. So now our opponent here has left one 15 yards away from the pin. This gives us a very good opportunity to pick up a win. But again, see, I don't like this shot here with the wood club. I like to go up here. But the problem that I've had on this hole, everybody, is I've had a hard time keeping this one on the left-hand side of the green. So I'm going to aim over here. I'm going to pull it 30% at minimum. I'm going to leave my ball guideline where it is, which I believe is way on the left-hand side of the flag stick, just because I've sent this one to the right-hand side so many times. Oh my gosh, and look at that. I screw this hole up too. Ha! So you give one and you give one back, right? Our opponent gave us one the last time, and now we're giving one back to our opponent. So now we're 6-2. And we screwed that one up pretty bad. It'd be silly for them not to rematch us. All right, so here we go. So now we're on, I think this is Drummore Links, hole 9 on Drummore Links. So our opponent's going to try to blast it through the rocks. And so I think that's what they're trying to do, trying to get that little kick that you get. Wow. So, I mean, that's tough because they hit a pretty bad, great shot, and they still ended up going where they wanted to. That's going to be really tough for us to compete with. But we're going to have to try, because if we can't execute this drive, then they're automatically going to win. It's going to be a really difficult shot, everybody. But we did hit perfect, so if we're going to make it, you know, we did everything we could. We went full overpower, perfect ball, and we got our kick out as well. Wow. All right, well, there we go. So we matched them. But, you know, I think they're more right-hand side than we are. Yeah, they are. They're more right-hand side. They've got a more powerful wood club and a more powerful ball. So they're in a prime position to get themselves right next to the hole here. I don't think either of us is going to drop this shot. So we'll probably be heading to another shootout here against Banger 442 from Team Canada. So I guess on that last shootout, maybe I should pull it at max distance instead of minimum. You know, that's really one shootout hole that I've struggled with so far from being back here on Tour 10. I just haven't had it a whole lot. I've had it enough to know that in headwind I need to play with the driver, and in crosswind and tailwind to play it with my wood club, but I'm just really struggling from the elevation and the ring pull standpoint on that hole. All right, I don't want to play too close to this rough over here on the left, so we're going to go with max curl to the left and some top spin here. We're going to go ahead and just make a 1-to-1 pull with a little bit of overpower and a little bit of left curl. Maybe a little bit more than 1-to-1. A little bit of OP, a little bit of curl to the left, something like this. Perfect ball. Again, I'm not expecting to make this. I just want to get myself within short chip-in range if we roll to the fringe, or obviously just give myself an easy putt. But we'll take this. I'd rather have this because this is going to give me another chip in towards my season challenge. And I always find it difficult to get yourself set up in 40 games to chip in, especially when you don't play a lot of games. But I will be playing a lot of games this season just because I will be here on Team Tarts trying to fill in my 10,000 clan point commitment to these guys. Hopefully I pick up a good chunk of clan points in the tournament. Still dealing with allergies too. My allergies are just way out of control this season. which is funny because I've never had allergy issues in my life. All right, Banger. We gave you one last time. Let's see if we can keep it competitive this time. And we got to go first this time. Oh, man, this is heavy wind here. My confidence is pretty low on this one, too. I'm going to aim pin high. I'm going to bump this up to 25%. I'm going to pull at 15. It's another guessing game here, everybody. Just another guess. Well, at least we hit perfect. At least we hit the fairway. But, you know, we didn't leave it enough pin high. I knew in, what was that, 13-mile-per-hour headwind, we were going to have a hard time. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not upset about being, 4.5 yards away. I'll take that on this particular shot here. And our opponent going with a full backspin approach. And they're going to try to hit it between the fairway, or between the rough and that sand trap. To me, it's pretty dangerous because I feel like if you don't hit perfect, you could get yourself in trouble. They hit a great ball to the right. Yeah, that's the reason why I don't like to aim there, which is why you saw me aim where I aimed. I just feel like it's really difficult in high wind to hit the slim part of the fairway that you're looking for. So the good news is we're 1-1 against Banger here. Maybe we can pick up a third game and go best out of 3. Very nice. And that puts us at 9 games for the session overall so far, and we're 7-2. I feel like I earned the victory on that last shootout. I mean, 13-mile-per-hour headwind mixed with crosswind, getting within 4.5 is, I feel it's a good number. Maybe you feel differently. Maybe you have higher expectations of yourself, but I'll take that one. It's going to be another high wind here. All right, so that's close enough. Maybe we'll just pull 12 or close to 12. Let's just go something like that. We'll pull the 2 rings first, and then we'll pull a whole target. Zoom out. Make the whole target pull easier. Hopefully I kept the wind needle the correct way on that double pull. We'll find out because we did hit perfect. Shoot. Oh, what did I mess up there? Maybe I messed something up when it came to the ring pull. Well, we lost this game. All right, so moral of the story here, when your opponent messes up like I do, I don't have any chance in the world to get to the green in 2, right? So all our opponent needs to simply do here is just lay up on the fairway. That's all they have to do. They hit the fairway, they're on the green in 2, they're easily winning. See, for me, I wouldn't have gone with any overpower here. But they did. And they're, wow. So the good news is we're not out of this game now. The good news is we are going to be able to get to a shootout. Now, I will tell you what I'm going to do here. I am not at all going to push this shot. I am simply making sure that I hit a perfect ball or a minor great ball and 100% landing on this fairway. No reason to go with overpower. No reason to do anything crazy. The worst thing that you could do in this situation is go with some max overpower shot and put yourself back into the rough or back into a sand somewhere. It's not going to help you, right? So just lay up like I did and go for the shootout. I'm thankful that I'm even in shootout talks after I donked my drive there on this hole. Okay, so now here we're in a situation where all I care to do, again, is lay up. I'm not looking to drop this shot, not looking to do anything fancy. I'm either just sticking my ball on the fairway, fringe, or green. That's it. Try to hit this little hill and just roll back down. There we go. Looks like our opponent's going to do the same thing here. Just stick it on the green. All right, so they're on the fringe. We're on the green. Unless one of us has an epic fail here, we are heading to a shootout. My part's done. All right, and their part's done. Like I said earlier, obviously we all know, but when you're that close on a chip in, unless you just hit a really, really nasty, great, or good shot, you're going to drop that in-bringer with the great or a perfect. All right, so now we'll see what shootout we get this time. This is the one that I royally screwed up that one time with the bad great left. So they're getting caught in between clubs on their adjustment. So they're going with a couple clicks of overpower here. They're overpowering through the teeth just to make up for what they pulled into their headwind. Well, 36.5, so hopefully I can live by my own words and tell you that when an opponent messes up, just take the layup. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm literally going to play this way up here. I do not care how close I get to the pin. I'm just making sure that I'm within 36 yards. Again, why do anything fancy? I don't care if this ball lands in the rough or the sand, fairway, green, or fringe. I just know for a fact that if I take this shot right here, that I'm going to win this hole. Okay, we're 10 games in, everybody. We are 10 games in. We are 8-2. That's 80% so far. And the only games that I lost was against the opponent who hit a great ball with the Marlin ball, but they ended up 1.5 yards away from pin. They won that game, and that one where I put the ball into the sand on the shootout. Those are the only 2 losses so far. Obviously, very excited when you can pull an 80% win rate here on this particular tour. You log in here and collect these bonuses. That means these bonuses are going to be up for grabs on my other accounts as well. I typically log in every 4 hours and open up my chest. And now we just head on to the next game. If it wants to get started. There we go. All right, Duffer, good luck. Old Dirty Back 9 crew. Not even sure what that means, but got a couple ideas. All right. This hole here in Headwind is all going to be about what ball you're using, what driver club level you have on which path you're going to go. You can either go straight up down the fairway and try to get to that second fairway there at the top, or you can try to get the curl correct and curl this ball to the right-hand side of the fairway, which is probably what I'll end up doing, which is what our opponent did. And they're going to put the pressure on us because they executed their drive. They did exactly what they needed to do. So you could try to go this way here, but I don't think that we're going to have enough juice because you're going to have a big secondary wind push, and I don't think we're going to have enough juice to get it to that part. So what we've got to try to do now is swing this ball way over to the right-hand side here. And it's just about getting the curl right. And this is going to be another one of those situations where I just haven't had enough experience on this hole in higher winds to 100% get this one down. But we hit a perfect ball, so we'll see what happens. And we got it there. All right, cool. Could even went with a little bit more topspin there, it appears. But that's okay. We'll take it. Our opponent, we're like literally right next to each other. Now, they've got the advantage here big time. P3 ball and a much more powerful wood club. So they're in a big advantage to get to the green. To whereas it appears we're going to have a hard time getting to the green. Yep. So I'm just trying to read this here. Then we want to go here and barely overpower. Perfect ball. Oh, man. Tough. I screwed that up. All right, so now we're going to put that one in the loss column. We're going to be 8-3. Surprised that ball didn't carry there like I thought it was going to. Come on. Come on, baby. Let's go. Oh, I misspoke. We have a chance. Perfect ball out of the rough. Guessed the spot perfectly when it came to where I needed to land to get that ball to roll in. Trying to aim down the middle of the fairway here. "16 rings." Don't know if this is right or not, but we're going to try. Click a curl to the left. Perfect ball. Nope, not a good camera angle. Oh, shoot. Gosh darn it. There's nothing like saving yourself out of the rough and then hitting a bad shot like that in a shootout. So the game, you know, I'm getting a little sketchy right now. Wonder if a little bit more left curl would have helped me out there. I don't know. Perfect ball from our opponent. They use a lot more left curl than I did, and they're going to stick it in the... They carried. Wow. So from a game that we should have lost to pulling out a victory, that always feels good. So we are 9-2. Can't believe we won that game. Very lucky to pull out a victory there. Well, let's just keep this party rolling. I mean, so far, so good, right? Another par 5 here. And then I'm going to assume that because... Yep, here we go. All right, we got another Moneyball player here. It's been a while, I feel like. Haven't run into a Moneyball in quite a few games. But I do believe we've beat every Moneyball so far during this game. That's a bad great right, too. I mean, that's a really bad great right. But this fairway is wide open, so it actually probably saved their shot. With a perfect ball, they might have gone into the rough there on the left-hand side. Do we want to go this way? I feel like this is the way to go, right? Could we just go this way? Am I crazy? Is that too far? I feel like we want to go this way. Forget to use the left curl here, Dave. Get this ball back onto the fairway. Perfect ball. There we go. We'll take it. I felt like going to the left-hand side of this hole would put you too far away from the hole. And I think that's what we're seeing with our opponent here. Now they've got a P3 ball with some good side spins. They can probably still get there. But, whoa. I wonder if our opponent is having some type of like needle glitch or something, because they went from a really bad great drive to a good shot on shot number 2. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody hit a good shot with a precision ball. To where I feel like here, wow, we're still going to be short of the pin. I mean, even with full topspin, 13-mile-per-hour headwind. We're just hoping to get ourselves in chip-in range here, which we did. We're going to win this game. I'm not sure what happened with our opponent here, but I don't feel like they played up to a potential I would expect here. All right, full top spin, 1 bar side spin to the left here. Even a great shot should be good. And it is. Okay. 10-2, everybody. Not too bad. 12 games in. Only 2 losses. We beat another money ball, although that game throws me off a little bit. I'm not too sure if they're experiencing some type of game issue, but I don't feel like they played a good round there against us at all. But sometimes you run into that. Sometimes that's you making bad shots. Sometimes it's your opponents making really bad shots. But I think overall, you know, we played the right drive to get us into an advantage on that hole anyways. So we'll say that for that one. Okay, so now on this hole here, 8-9 is the wind. Give me 1 second here. I'm actually responding to a text message real quick. Okay, so we got 8-9, 7-8 on the ring pool. I think what we can do here is we can hit this, right? We should be able to make that. I'm not going to push back up to max. I'm just going to go with this type of shot. Even that nasty great shot should be okay. Just trying to bump this onto the fairway. This is exactly what we did. And you get a nice little roll out here too, even. All right, so we'll take that. We're playing Tommy here. No, it's not the Tommy everybody knows. But we got another money ball. I think we're either 4-0 or 5-0 against the money balls today. I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're somewhere in that range. I know we haven't lost a one yet. Our opponent just did the same thing. They're just rough bumping the drive. The rough bump roll out always works, except when it doesn't. Okay, now from here, tough, everybody. We can't go this way. This is obviously the way that we would like to go, but we didn't get enough yards on the drive. So what we're going to have to do here is go with the max overpower shot, max curl to the right, perfect ball, and nope, missed it. And we weren't even lucky enough to land on the fairway. So we're in trouble. Now, I don't know if our opponent can make it. I forget what power ball they're using. Power 3. So they're in a very similar situation to what we were. If I were them, I would just land this one on the fairway island there, and I would try to chip in for the win. But they're going to try to go from fairway to fairway and roll out. This is a tough shot here. Perfect ball. They got the precision ball. That helps. 1. They did it. They earned the win there. Nice job. That will probably be our first loss against a money ball. But you know what? Maybe we'll make this. I don't know. Hate when I can't go with the full top spin. Oh, it was right there. So close. All right, well, we'll put one in the loss column there. So we're 10-3. We're still fine. No big deal. You're going to lose some. That was really well played by our opponent there on shot number 2. I mean, they went for the gamble shot and they hit it. That's all you can ask for, man. So good job, Tommy. You earned that one there, buddy. All right, my plan was to play 15 games, and we are 2 games away from doing that. So we're 13 games in right now. And this is that same hole where you can try to go for that just blast shot and just get your way through those little rock area and try to kick up onto the fairway. Really not a fan of this hole at all. And you want to kick over to the right-hand side there too. I pulled it a little bit less rings than what it asked for just because I didn't want to accidentally clip the front part of the rough here. You see here we got a good camera angle, so we should be able to kick the rocks and roll out just fine. That camera angle is really nice, so we knew that we wouldn't be in any trouble there at all. All right, so 440 on our drive. Now, the only thing that does is put pressure on our opponent because if they don't hit their drive, there's a good chance we win this hole without going to a shootout. But tailwind is pretty easy to work with here. Typically in tailwind, what you'll see happen is somebody go with too much overpower, and they'll actually send the ball through the fairway where we landed on, but into the rough or the sand. Now, our opponent here did not go with full overpower, so they probably won't experience that type of issue. They're getting a weird camera angle here, though. So, yeah, they're not going to raw the rough. That camera angle kind of gave you a good indication of where they were going to land. So here, we're just going to go with the same type of shot that we did last time. Top spin. You know, we'll pull it about 1-to-1. I'll pull it more than 1-to-1 here. I'll just go with an entire target pull, so about 10 rings. I'll use a little bit of overpower combined with a little bit of curl to the left. Hit perfect. 2 things are going to happen. We're either going to be in putting range or we're going to be landing within our chip-in range, which is we're going to be chipping in. And you see there, that's why I used the left curl, because even with a perfect ball, even with max side spin to the left, we still come dangerously close to the right-hand part of the rough. And that seems to be a pretty common theme on this hole that I've learned in the past when it comes to making my tournament content. But wow, our opponent from the rough has the ability to get there. I didn't see that coming at all. And they did get there. Wow, good for them. I mean, they're closer than we are. And they're coming out of the rough. I knew winning in regulation was too good to be true. All right, so here we go. What shootout shot are we going to get now? So far we have not experienced a 2-game losing streak during this little grinding session here. Let's hope we don't start that. All right, so Mike is up first. It's going to be a tough headwind hole for us. I'm going to play this one, I think, 35% at max and headwind. Bit of a guess here. Perfect ball from our opponent. They're going to come up short, though. I thought they were actually going to clip the rough and roll out, but they didn't. They made it. So they're saying good game. I think they're conceiving the game, but I wouldn't do that if I were them yet. I'm going to aim over here on the fat part of the fairway, and I'm doing that because I'll show you here in a second. Ball guideline going past the pin. I'm going to pull this one at max, even though we're not at max. I'm going to pull this one almost 13 rings. Maybe even some overpower with a little bit of right curl. Big adjustment, a little bit of OP, a little bit of right curl. That's good enough for a win. Get there, baby. Yeah. All right. Sweet. So next game is going to be our 15th game, which is what I wanted to play. We are not going to experience any losing streak out of 15 games. Pretty excited about that. I would probably like to break down the strategy that I used on that shootout there too. Okay, I'm going to show you here real quick why I did what I did. Perfect. Perfect angle to take a look at this at. Okay, so I want you to take a look at, first of all, we're going to start with the fairway, right? And what I wanted to do is I wanted to aim on the fattest part of the fairway, which is like somewhere right around here or whatever. But most importantly, look at this rough line up here. So see how much further away the rough line is from here than what it is right here. So I wanted to aim at the fairway rough line that was closest to the tee box. That way we don't accidentally clip the rough. If I would aim over here or over here, the rough extends further to the hole, and that's a harder shot to take. So I wanted to take it, right in that area where I did. So anyways, that was my thought process with that shootout hole, just in case you're wondering. But anyways, we've played 14 games and we've won 11. So this is going to be the final game of this pre-recorded stream. As always, I appreciate anybody who watches the content. I hope that I've earned a thumbs up and maybe even a new subscriber. Wow, the game has really given us this hole. This is our third time playing this hole out of 15. Our opponent is using that nice little money ball here. Boy, P5 topspin boost. This is a situation where they could send it into that top part of the fairway or that rough and sand area, but even if they do, they're still going to make it to the green probably because they're using a crazy ball. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, funny how I just talk about sometimes people go with too much overpower and they end up in the sand or rough, and then the very next game, that's exactly what happens. So, okay. Controlled OP shot here. Camera angle looks good. Kick out, and we roll out. Very nice. That's all we're looking to do. Nothing crazy with it. Our opponent's in the sand, and they have a very good Spitfire, which has great topspin. So Spitfire 7 is just a beast of a club to get you out of bad situations. Now they still have to adjust properly here and get the curl right and hit probably a perfect ball or a minor great to get this shot to go where they want it to go. And they did. Put themselves within chip-in range, although this chip-in here is a little bit trickier than normal. Same thing here, basically 1-to-1, you know, nothing too fancy. Whoa, what happened there? Why did that happen? That threw me off. I hit a great freaking ball. Come on, Dave. That's still okay. All right, so this time, instead of chipping in, we'll be putting in. It's okay with me. Got to be really careful with this chip in here because this green does roll a little tricky. So they're using underpower with right curl. Perfect ball. And they're in. All right. Now we're in a tough shootout position against that ball. All right, everybody, this is it. This is the last hole for me. We're going first on a lot of these shootouts. This is a big wind here. 19 rings is what this is going to end up being. I'm going to leave it pretty short and left. All right, let's just go ahead and make almost 2 complete adjustments. Even maybe a tad left curl here. Perfect ball, so at least that's good. Shot looks good. Love it. Love it. Man, if we lose this game, hats off to our opponent because we stuck that ball about a yard away from the pin in 13-mile-per-hour wind. Well, everybody, I don't know what to say. We went 5-1 against Money Balls, if I'm keeping track correctly. We went 12 out of 15 games as well. So get the calculator for that one. So 80% win rate on the nose. Overall, I hope this video helped. Again, if you're new to the channel, if you're just checking out some Tour 10 content, please subscribe. Please hit that thumbs up, and I will see you again for the next one. Thanks, everybody.